Stay with us if you would, please. I also want to bring in a branding expert, Rob Frankel. And what I wanted to talk to you about, Rob, was this whole idea of marketing, message, imaging, all the things that you do to try and sell a product or sell a service or sell an idea in the case of the president. Is he overdoing it, or is this what Robert Gibbs said, all these different media is going to be the right way to play it?
No, he's definitely overdoing it. You know, if you really want to have a successful brand message, it really hinges on three things, and that's you have to have authority, you have to have credibility, and you have to have clarity. And the authority he brings with it because he's the President of the United States. But when you start becoming one of the guys, you stop really becoming the President of the United States, and you start being one of the guys. And if you don't have all three of those, your message starts to deteriorate very quickly. He also suffers from a clarity issue because nobody seems to know really, just like in his 2008 campaign, people knew what change was, but they didn't know what kind of change. And there are a lot of people who would rather not risk anything if they're not clear on what they're changing to.
Yeah, I read a book one time, the guy who was the manager that created Elvis Presley, the star. And his whole thing was he only let him out every so often, because when he came out, it was always a big deal. So is that what you think the president should be doing?
Absolutely. You know, the guy who really blew this in a major key was Jimmy Carter, who just about everything he touched really went into the toilet. And as a result, he had this, it started to snowball on him as just as this inept fella. Nice guy, smart guy, but an inept leader. If Obama was on the phone to me, I would say you really need to kind of come back, let Bacchus take the lead. That's what he's there for. Delegate this. The master of that was Ronald Reagan, who delegated the mission to people and then stepped in to lend his presidential authority. See, if you don't have that presidential authority, you get guys like Joe Wilson yelling at you because they're yelling at you. They don't realize that they're yelling at the President of the United States.
Rob, at the same time, we've kind of been talking over the last couple of weeks about the fact that we need to see the President give us one clear and concise, not necessarily bill, but idea on health care. This is what we're going to do, A, B, C, D, and check them off and be very, very specific about it. Don't you think that would be the best approach as opposed to going on 5 different shows and having 10 different interviews and still not giving us that one concrete, this is what it is, folks, and look at the people straight in the eye?
Yeah, you're actually bringing up 2 good points. Number one, the more shows he goes on, the more it looks like he's out there by himself trying to do it all himself. He's not presenting the image of consensus. He's actually communicating the exact opposite thing. The other thing is that whenever you try and pitch something new to people, the first thing they do is try and make it fit into their old box. Oh yeah, it's just like this was. So even the phrasing that he's chosen, the terminology he's chosen, should have been completely different. Not old, tired terms that carry baggage, new terms from a new point of view. As I said earlier one time, he could have attacked this from the issue of accountability, for example, or everybody doing their share. Didn't choose to do that, so once again, the messaging is wrong, and you have one guy seemingly out there singing it all by himself. Not good.
All right. Rob Frankel, branding expert. We appreciate it. We'll see how the polls do after all the media blitz this weekend. Thanks so much, Rob.